This is, so far, the coolest thing to have ever happened on this channel. We've got Raina, Audron, and Bazielim here talking to us. I mean, it doesn't get more cool than that, guys. Raina is, of course, the director of Defiance Remastered and Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered. And if you don't know me, I'm Ben. I'm the guy responsible for flooding your feed with Legacy of Kain shorts and playthrough videos. And this is my business partner, Destiny, who runs the channel with me. Her camera isn't working today, but she's here with us in spirit and in audio. Welcome to part one of our epic chat with Raina, Audron, and Bazielim. It's just really, really awesome that you guys are here today. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ben. I'm so honored to be here. I'll talk to you again, like after last week. So now it's on your channel, so it's really cool to be here. Like, we've been watching your videos for a while now, like all the playthroughs, and seen all your playthroughs on the old Defiance one. I was like, wait a little bit and you could have played the game. It's fine. You have it fresh in your memory, so it's good to compare. Because I find like people have this, they don't remember. It's been a long time, 20 years, so some people don't replay Defiance every single year. It is a bit of a tedious game sometimes, so I totally get it. And yeah, you have it fresh in your memory now and you can compare it, and I'm really excited, all your little findings and what you see, you just stop and look and say things, so it's and all the funny jokes, so I have my dinner, turn on Kaiju post and just watch, so that's our thing which we do.
Oh,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Yeah.
Thank
you for having us here.
This is kind of a big question, but tell me the story of what first hooked you into Legacy of Kain.
I guess it's the looks of it, just the way the attention Raziel brings out. Like, it's so unusual to see a character with no jaw. It's just this weird thing. He's naked, technically, but you kind of, your mind doesn't think of him being naked because you can just kind of... Where are your
pants, Raziel?
Yeah, exactly. He's just back naked and just walks around with double spine. You can see everything, and it's like, what the hell? But it still looks cool. And this is what I think it brings, like, in the design of Raziel. And they had many, many designs, and they decided, obviously, in the end, on this one. And I think you can see why, because the tattered wings, the cape, the symbols, it all creates this really cool silhouette. And I know Daniel was saying like he wanted a very agile, like almost like Spider-Man, like glowing eyes, glow in the dark eyes. It's just so much unlike anything I've seen. I think right before this Soul Reaver came out, there was Shadow Man and Kaiju the Heartless, but their designs never really captured me as much. I don't know what it was. I think maybe I have a thing for like a blue dead corpses or something. I don't know. And maybe winging ones as well. The wings also help, because you have, oh my god, you can glide in the game. But I think it was the whole design of the characters, and you can see they took so much care into designing Raziel, Kain, and everybody else. Because obviously they already had Blauman, and taking Kain from it, they wanted to change him and like show the span of time, like it's over a millennia since. To see how he changed and gave him this crown and this golden skin, hardened skin, and basically he doesn't need any armor anymore. He's so badass. He just, he has no boots because the boots he has are like with toes poking out because they're like hardened, and he doesn't need any protection. Basically, that's what his design is saying to me, and he really looks cool. I know some people don't like it the way he was changed, and saying he has some. What do they call it? Like croissants on his forehead or something? I was like, no, you don't get it. It's meant to be a crown, a golden crown. And I think it shows Kain's own hubris, like, really well.
Yeah.
That was the intent behind the design of this, Elder Kain. But he doesn't just have hubris. He also has wisdom and knowledge he accumulated over the thousands of years. He's been spending looking through the Chronoplast and trying to find this outcome, like, which would benefit his empire, because he knew it was failing and there was nothing he could have done to prevent it. But then he gets this wild card. So there's wisdom in his design, not just this arrogance or power, which, he has this symbol over his chest. I'm really, big proponent, like keeping his proportions to the FMV, because that's based on the concepts of Kain, and they're accurate, like to the T, pretty much. The only thing is in the remasters, which is we've just done more details on some of the skins, and some of the cape stuff is more detailed now because we have the technology to make it in. We have the original models from the Sanctuary, from the FMV. They actually use JPEGs. back in the day, like really high res JPEGs, so they were JPEGs, and they didn't have any PNGs because it didn't support transparency, so they had to use like masks and stuff. So it was really fascinating when I was working on the FMV and recreating the textures for it, because not all of them got preserved. I just thought it was a really cool detail.
I've been watching The Ancient's Den for a long time now, and I remember about 5-6 years ago, I was kind of messing around with your Soul Reaver HD remaster that you'd put together, and I was so excited that I was able to get it running and get it working on my machine at the time, and then I was defeated by the controller. I had XPattern set up at the time, and it wasn't translating my inputs very well, so it's just like, eh.
Yeah, and it's using we have to kind of remap the whole controls. Well, I tried to include like with the emulator, the FlyCast, like a preset. But if you played it in original Dreamcast, like there's no right stick, so the camera is on the D-pad. So it's really awkward to play. I like the version of the game, but I like just the control. It's just not made for it because it doesn't. It's missing the right stick. So that's why I'm really happy for the remasters, where we just stick the camera on the right stick.
So
and you can look up and down without going to the first, look around mode, which the original game did not have. Neither SR1 or 2. Only Defiance had went to the first person. Like you can move the camera, but. Yeah, it was one of those things like the control is a bit awkward on the original, so I'm really glad we got to improve them, and you can remap most of them as well. So if it's not to your liking, you can also remap them in Defiance. Like you can do a combo, like make it like SR2 on SR1, like the way you want it. So it's really nice to have that option.
There's so many options for the player in this, and when I first booted up Soul Reaver 1 remastered, I like instantly, my hand, like as I just played the original for a little bit and was griping about the shoulder camera buttons. Okay, let's see how it plays. And then the second my thumb touched that stick, oh, thank God there is a free camera with the stick and not with the button. And the camera moved. I was just like,
yes.
Victory.
Yeah, it was fun to watch.
If you got on the FlyCast remaster, did you spot the first human?
I didn't.
Oh.
That was me before the beard.
Yeah, that was him. Yeah.
That was me. So the guy that goes, no, please. That's me. Obviously, didn't change the design, so it's my face.
Yeah, and you had to make a dead face too.
Yeah, so I had to sort of go.
Yeah, and I had to bloody him up, and that was fun. That was fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it also means I'm like the corpse the Doom are feeding on as well when you first get in the training room.
Yeah.
That's me dead. And it's like, oh, God.
Okay, that's an amazing Easter egg.
Yes.
So
it's like I lost my job for the official remaster. I was like, damn.
Yeah, sorry. Better corpse.
That was the credit right there. That was a credit to have. I wanted to share something with both of you. We just made a new shirt, and since Destiny's not on camera, I can actually unfold this one and show it to you.
Oh, Sassy! Awesome! Yay!
I love Sassy Raz.
Sassy Raz is the best Raz.
500 years.
Oh, man.
I love your custom t-shirts, by the way. No one as well.
Yeah, I've had some fun with that one. It's been like, as I kind of have been getting into these playthroughs, of course, I'm talking to the camera, and it's like I'm imagining people there, but I'm not like interacting with anybody. So, it frees me to say all the stupid stuff that comes to mind.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I thought about doing a commentary playthrough, but I prefer it's like somebody else plays it, because I don't have to then focus on actually playing. And when I did the playthroughs of games in the past, I always do silent ones. I don't talk, because I'm not I don't know, I just don't have the personality for it or something. Like you guys, you've been unnatural. Like you make jokes and keep people entertained. You say interesting facts. That's a skill to have. So
thank you.
That's why we love watching you, because it's entertaining all throughout, and we could just sit there for 2-3 hours just watching you play, and it's always fun. because it's so many interesting facts, and not just for us, obviously for everyone. So,
well, thank you.
Really cool.
I hope, like, the thing that I worry about so much, and I'll tell you, I spend a lot of time on the wiki before I play, and I just, I really hope I don't get stuff wrong. And if I do get stuff wrong, please call me out loudly, and I will absolutely issue a retraction, just like I did in the video tomorrow.
I take notes.
Good.
That's it. Note number 1, don't ever do the cheats.
That reminds me, I think you should ask this question.
I do want to ask this question. Do you guys forgive us for crashing your new game in 30 seconds, laughing about it, and then posting it on YouTube?
I'm so sorry. Oh no!
We were so excited. We sat down, turned on Kaiju. It was like, what is he gonna say? He's like, oh, the coin. Oh, we're gonna do a special thing. I was like, don't do the tube, don't do the tube, don't do the tube.
No.
He says, I'm gonna do the tube. I was like, it's gonna happen. Crap. It's gonna make a bad impression on him. He's gonna think it's crap.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It was patched really fast. I mean, you played it straight away. So I was like, I think it was patched like the next couple of days or something.
Mm-hmm.
So or the next day even.
I did the same sort of thing because my skins video went out with. And I think it is on the original one. To play as Toon, Raziel, just go and enter this press button cheat. And then they told me the day after I'd put it out that, no, they've changed that, and because that crashes the game. Like, wait, I've just told people to crash the game?
Here's my how-to on how to crash the game.
It's just an unlucky coincidence. It's okay. It's gone. It's patched now. It's fine. It's now we can just look back and laugh at it. It's fine. Like it's one of those things you don't plan, and it's good that people find the bugs and tell us, because sometimes you can have 100 people test the same thing and not come across the one thing somebody else, the 101st person will come across. So it's just the reality of game development. Like we all have different setups at home, and you can never just have the right configuration for every single thing, and somebody will find something which you missed. So it's one of those things.
Somebody will do something you never anticipated they would do, and then suddenly everything is broken. Like, did you even do that?
Like the speedrunners finding a bunch of stuff. Ben was just speedrunning to the cheats, so it's just speedrunners who really show us everything here.
Speedrunners like breaking things.
One thing that I see in a lot of your interviews, and something that I'm just really, really interested in, is texture archaeology. What is that?
I really like to bring this up. I really got into it more recently, in the last 5-6 years. But I was always into art and 2D art and textures in general. But when I started doing the modding on the Tomb Raider and Soul Reaver series, then that's when I got into serious. Like, I need to dig these textures up. I have a friend who really kicked off this whole thing, and they've been really cool, and they've done a lot of search themselves. So we've kind of been working on the remastering of the Soul Reaver. So they helped me so much. They've done Raziel's Cave, for example, for the Dreamcast mode I did. I have a little bit here and there, and I found lots of source textures for me. So anyway, we've done research together. So but basically what it means is finding source photographs or source images based on the textures in the game. So what happens is see these cobblestone textures. I was like, okay, they got it from somewhere. They didn't just paint the cobblestone. So there's this famous video called Cobblestone. Which is about the texture archaeology, and this cobblestone texture is everywhere. In every it's almost every single game. It's so overused. It's even in Defiance. Defiance has a cobblestone texture. There's exact cobblestone texture used in Avernus, where I think Mortenius it's in the catacombs. So it's so fascinating to trace these textures. Where do they come from? Are they original images? Are they from a source, from a book or from a CD? But there's lots of these sets you can download or buy online. I bought myself. I spent like £500 on getting all
lots
the
of
books.
money.
Lots of money on these books, and on Marlon
This
Studio
whole
textures.
sort of bookcase of them over here.
Yeah, and you kind of need to look for they mostly came out in the 90s, so it's also really hard to track them down because it's really hard to get them new. You can't get them new. They're only used, or you get you get a sealed copy with everything in there. But I just love these books, and lots of developers in the 90s just scan these books and put those textures in the game. So if once you find the book, you have a very good chance you're going to find a lot more textures from the same source. And it's really interesting. And I just love, like, oh my God, when you find the exact match or you find the location these textures are from, like, it's like hitting gold. But hypothetical gold, really.
And sometimes it's meant sort of searching for things. Sometimes it's been a case of, wait, they got that from there. I know where that is. Let's go.
Yeah. And
we just go in and...
Some locations were in UK, so we actually did go to those places and took my own photos.
Yeah.
So I really love doing
the
that.
The amount of times we've gone somewhere like really special, and Raina's gone right up to a wall and been taking pictures.
Take pictures
oh no! I told you to do that. There you go.
By me.
But yeah, I'm
perfect
actually
timing.
inspired by the modders on the Resident Evil 4 HD project. They made. Basically, they traveled around Spain and they took pictures of the same things that the developers used, but they obviously slightly blurry textures, and they improved it. Like, oh my God, they've done so much work, and they're my huge inspiration as well for doing texture work. The guys from Resident Evil 4 projects, just giving me a little shout out because they did an excellent job, and they're really the big inspiration. And they made me like, okay, I want to do source textures too. I want to be a texture archaeologist as well. So thank you guys.
There is one, particularly because we've been talking about this recently, that has eluded us, which was a griffin texture from Tomb Raider. And it's just a funny story because it's come up recently. We found out where that came from because Raina bought a book, and it's like on the back cover of the book, this griffin texture. And we went to that palace, it's Blenheim Palace, and we went there for Christmas.
We did.
And it was all decked out for Christmas, and we missed it.
And the texture is right there. These dragons.
That's right there.
Cool.
That's in Tomb Raider. It's a door knocker in Blenheim Palace, and we've been and we didn't see it.
And,
but luckily,
oh
palaces in England come with or most of the National Trust ones come with like a year's thing. So you go once, you can go for free for the next year. So we're going to go again.
I'm going to be on all the doors trying to find that lock.
The entire tour group waiting for Raina to take pictures.
You can't go in now. Stop everybody.
Important game development work going on.
We talked about this in the It's Official interview. I just want to touch on it again because I've got a great screenshot for it. The Necromancer class is brand new and bespoke for the Dark Prophecy demo, right?
Yep, that's all correct. It's taking the slot of a Cenobite, so it's a summoning class. It summons remnants in our demo. Basically, this is a brand new creature made by Ritual Entertainment for this demo. It's slightly different, as you can see. He has like a really high color, and he's actually covering up. There's an eyeball in his mouth.
No way.
It looks really weird. It's like, I'm like, what is this, mouth of Sauron?
Yeah.
What the hell? I don't know. It looks really strange, but it is like more like going to the metal kind of crowd, that kind of feel to it, less gothic, definitely. It has an interesting aesthetic, but obviously they didn't develop it enough because they only made like this one extra class. The other enemies in the demo are basically just reskins. They're nearly identical to the stuff you see in the game already. So because it was like a milestone demo, so they were just reusing all the assets. If you look at the clearing, it's the textures from the cemetery and stuff like that. So it's like a kind of, there's some new textures too. So they did do work, but they did reuse some stuff as well.
There was one enemy class that's slightly changed. I think is the Seraphan you come across were supposed to be bloodied up in the original sort of.
It's not the same
Dark
Seraphan you fight in the Defiance. It's not meant to be, but they didn't flesh it out enough. It was obviously very early. They was just throwing assets into the game, and they changed them slightly. it's good to have. It was good to see. Like, I really wanted to see Dark Prophecy and play it, so at least we got to, because it could have been forgotten somewhere forever and could never seen anything from it except some screenshots. So just to be able to play like a piece of this video game history, which got like cancelled like after a few months, and it's just amazing. Even it's a shame it's so short, but it's better not seeing it at all. So I'm glad we got this chance.
That's something I just never thought was possible. I didn't think that there was enough of it to like start building anything, let alone a whole demo. So that was just such a cool surprise. Folks watching, if you want more detail on Dark Prophecy and my first time player logic, go check out its official's interview with Raina and myself over at this link that I'm going to pop up right here. Well, I have been obsessing over photo mode, and now it's like my new thing is a go to camera drone and go and let's obsess over these details.
No, it's so fun to have the photo mode. I'm really glad we got the poses in this time. So I handpicked all the poses myself. The last time I wanted the poses, but I just time and budget constraints. So this time I was like, we're getting the poses in. So I was like trying so many angles because the physics for the cape and the hair are different. They kind of have their own mechanics going on. Which also means they also go through his body a lot, and you don't see it when you fight. And you end up with his ponytail through his chest.
I've seen that one.
The cape constantly clips through. I was like, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do about these animations, but we have to include, I chose like the best ones which didn't have, there's still some clipping which you can't avoid, but I'm hoping, moving the block pose, not the dabbing.
Moving the block.
We're moving the block in this one.
Moving the block.
There was also, like fighting poses. I had to cut some because some just look silly, like Basil was being thrown back like that. I was like, that might look weird, it's that kind of thing. But there's lots of cool poses there, and obviously mostly fighting and him swashing the Reaver around. I was like trying to okay, which pose does it? Because I actually could move the frames and see which frame looks the best, so which was really great. We had really great, amazing engineers to enable this. So thank you so much, guys at PW. Couldn't have done it without you. And they added all these extra cool things, and you can. I saw your requests, like you can turn the weather on or off. It's static, but you can have the snowflakes or the rain in your shots if you need. So that's really cool.
I have probably spent way too much time messing around in photo mode, as you've seen on the videos. It's like
that was something I've been doing in all of my videos as well. I don't know if you've seen the Lost Levels one, but like 50% of it is just me going in photo mode and going, wee.
I think it's fun for the viewer. Ben had written me last night or this morning and said, I could have done more if I wasn't going crazy in photo mode, but I love it. And like when I'm going through and doing my like QC and review, when he has one that I just absolutely love, I'll drop in the comments like, that's a framer,
Nice. No, I saw something that our community on LOK Discord, they've done some amazing shots. Every time I see like a new batch, I'm like, wow, this is what our game actually looks like. That's awesome. Like they got really good shots and also some meme material too,
lots of memes. Keeper of secrets is not keeping many secrets.
You can blame Conrad on that one. Conrad is really great. Like he's absolutely fantastic. He did all the vampire hunters in the game and the Cenobites, so mostly the human characters. And
he's behind Lara Croft's
he's the
Tomb
creator
Raider.
of the new Lara Croft visage in Tomb Raider Remasters.
Cool.
The Tomb Raider fans know him well. It's Konrad Majewski. Hey, Konrad. He's amazing to work with. Like, oh my god, I just tell him to do something and just does it to such a high level. Like, wow. I mean, you can see the vampire hunters. He had such a difficult job because their faces, they're slightly caricature-like. Big jaws and scrunched up faces, like they're just looking angry. And I was like, I tried to can you please make them more human? Maybe a bit more, less caricatures.
So I noticed that the female vampire hunter doesn't have the tattoo over her eye anymore.
Yeah, that's oversight. Let's just say it that way.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, when I looked at it, like I just didn't realize it was missing. Unfortunately, sometimes things like this happen. Like you don't not realize, and we are just all human.
I wasn't emotionally attached to it. I was just curious.
Yeah, no, I know, it's me too. Don't worry. So you're not the only one. I was like, once you point it out, then it's like, oh shit, we forgot that. No.
Should we clear up some lore misconceptions?
Yeah, let's go for it. I'm dying. I'm dying for it. Yeah.
All right. This is actually just something I'm kind of confused on. Are the Pillar Guardians functionally immortal unless they're killed by violence?
They have extended lifespans. I think it was called longevity.
I mean, it's nearly like immortal.
Yes,
immortal means you can't really die by old age, and you can see. Look at Mobius in the murals; he's the same, looks the same as current Mobius. So I think they don't really age after a certain point, and they just stay the same. I mean, it's almost similar to vampirism in a way. Like, I mean, these edifices were built by vampires, and it makes sense that they would have similar powers. Like, they give these, they still stay humans, but they do have this like such prolonged life that they just live for centuries and centuries, and until somebody kills them. And it also makes sense, like that it will happen to humans like that, because obviously the vampires were immortal. They couldn't die by old age, but they were not invincible, so they could still be killed. Hence the whole mechanism of another new guardian being birthed and chosen for the pillar. And so it transferred these powers to the human guardians, making them really long-lived or nearly immortal basically. And it makes sense because these are, the most important people on the planet, and you have to kind of also find them. Like, if somebody gets born and nobody knows it's a guardian, then so when the custodians of pillars were gone, then I'm sure it was quite a bit of chaos when they killed off the old ancient vampire guardians and the humans took over.
That's a bit of Nosgoth history that I'm just fascinated with. Absolutely fascinated. The amount of work that you guys put into this. I mean, there's this discourse online that really kind of frustrates me, and that's this whole lack of nuance around the AI conversation. What's something that you want folks to know about AI tools and the way that you use them?
It obviously says on Steam that there were AI upscalers were used, which is correct. They were, because as I was talking about texture archaeology, some of these sources are basically unusable because they're so small. And even though, like, you can't just slap them in a game and expect it to look good in 4K. So some upscaling has to be used. And obviously, upscalers can only get the right to a certain degree. You still have to edit it. It's not just a magic button for everything. So we have lots of source textures which are not upscaled. They're their original resolution. We just have high resolution for them, and you can see you can see all the little leaves, all the details. And I think texture work in general for Defiance is a lot higher quality. We had really good artists working on this, and we have texture archaeologists on the team who actually were finding these sources, finding all these patterns, because we didn't want to rely on AI to, because when you upscale, sometimes it makes the melty patterns because it doesn't understand the upscaling. So I wanted to avoid that. I wanted to include original art wherever possible. You can't do it for every single pattern, but
I am so impressed at the level of work that you consistently put into all of your projects.
Thank you.
And I just, this whole AI conversation, I try to take a really nuanced view on it because nobody likes Magic Thing Maker. I don't just want to prompt something and have it spit something out that I say, great, good enough, ship it. If I'm going to use AI for anything, it is to help me do something either faster, and I'm making the decisions, or to help me create a patch for something that would be far too labor intensive to do otherwise. You
can upscale it to a certain degree, but you still have to have an artist to touch it up. And if I can, upscale is usually sometimes used as a basis. Like you have something, so you have, let's say, 128 by 128 texture, which is really minuscule.
Yeah.
And then you upscale it to 512, something larger, and that's your base. Like this is what you work with, and then you replace. When you find sources, you can just replace them outright. I think there was this one discourse about one of the Tomb Raider screenshots, 1, 2, 3. This one, Tomb Raider 2 especially. There was this screenshot of this pattern on the wall, which was obviously looked AI. And it was pointed out people were not happy.
I remember this.
Okay. And I went I found an original pattern Tibetan pattern, which is proper, made by person. It's not AI, and replaced it, and nobody noticed it afterwards. It was. Sometimes I feel like it's used for like a bit of sensationalism, like, oh yeah, look at this AI thing, and it brings people, angry people, like, oh no, how dare they use AI? I will not buy your game if you ever use AI. But I think they don't really understand. Like the artist's been scanning books since 90s,
Yeah.
Sometimes potentially without permission too, like it was like 30 years back now, and I understand obviously the ethical misuse and stuff which can happen, but I'm really against such stuff myself, so I only allow the upscaling, and everything needs to be touched up by an artist. And obviously this is like a last resort. We always use the source images first if we find them. You can see it, like lots of the Citadel patterns are the original ones, because we found the source textures, and we had also archived from Crystal, which is amazing. This huge resource that the original developers were using. Find out where they went. They actually went on not the holiday, but I guess we can call it a work holiday, and took snapshots of these places and used them in a game either as inspiration or as actually texture work in the game.
Cool.
And also this game came out in 2000 something, and the resolution was low, so it didn't matter how you could just take a picture with a camera and just reuse it, because it still be pixelated in the game. Now in 2026, the same method, if you didn't use a high-res camera back then it's a bit of a more problematic how to make it look good. And this is where the upscalers can help. But if there is the same pattern we can find, which is high resolution, we will definitely replace it. But that was always my method. Always use the original art, especially for architecture patterns, because I'm just like, I have to find the original sources if I can. I won't stop until I find one. So that's our basically modus operandi. Like, this is how we work. So I hope to put some people at ease, thinking, oh no, they used AI.
Yeah.
I think people are a little hypersensitive to AI these days. It's a thing that people know is happening, so they kind of assume it's everywhere, doing everything, and everyone's trying to cut corners. And
it's not a magic solution, I can tell you that. It can only bring you at some point, but then you need to do all the hard work yourself. So, and we only use it as a last resort.
Even as far back as Tomb Raider, though, there were people going, "Oh, look at the AI on this lazy AI on this," and we'd go, That's from China. That's you're saying the original Chinese architects 2,000 years ago were lazy. That's not no.
Whether too, I can say that the Jade Palace levels, like I found the source images for the doors. Actually, we didn't know there were doors. They were just this giant something like that. It was these patterns of things which it looked like a horse, but I didn't know what it was, and they all connected. They all come from the same place, and I found it, and I was like, oh my god, like eureka, I found that place, and it was a picture of a door which was like semi-open, so we couldn't see the actual pattern, but it was that I could see part of it, but not the whole thing. So you have to find this room with closed doors at some point, and we did, and it was amazing. It's like these like little like light bulb goes about. You're like, oh my god, I found it. This is what it was this whole time, and I was so happy I found it. And it wasn't AI, it was an actual authentic art, and I always put that as first, like have authentic art where possible.
That commitment really does show in both remasters. I spent so much time in Soul Reaver 1 and 2 just staring at the artwork and then just clicking back and forth. And there were a few times where it's like, where the hell did they get the rest of this detail? It's amazing.
I had to play few things. Yes, there were some times when there was an original source art, like they did it themselves in house, and like they painted it, but the problem is it was too low resolution, so I had to actually repaint some of the murals myself. The murals in the cathedral are basically hand painted by me. I repainted the whole thing like in high resolution and put that in a game. Cool. I had to do it a few times for these things. Sometimes we had the sources, like the stained glass murals that was done by Daniel Kabuko. That was amazing to have actually the source images for these, so I didn't have to guess. I mean, I think the Fireforge stained glass especially. I didn't know that what hell it was, but once I saw the retreat textures, I realized it was from there, and they kind of reused it. So they kind of were reusing, when they cut areas, they reused textures from those areas in some other places. And I didn't realize that at the time until I saw the textures for the retreat. And I was like, oh, okay, they reused this thing. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense now. So the original mural didn't have the Reaver in the middle, but they added that in. So I think I had to paint that one in originally. But yeah, once we found the source, it was so much easier to have these, because sometimes the little details get lost, and when you have the larger source and you're like, okay, oh, this is what it was. So it's really cool to find these things. I just love doing it, you know, digging into the archives, digging into the internet, and digging into books, and going to these, you know, places, these palaces and stuff, and taking screenshots like, oh my god, I'm taking a picture of a brick wall, don't look at me, I'm not weird. Basically.
Baz, the next time Raina does that in public, you need to take a picture of her doing that.
I encourage my own artists to go out and say, like, we did this by hand, we did this. Like, I know some people were even considering that the skins or the Elder God stuff was made by AI, and I'm like, no, AI can't really do that to that level of quality. No, that they're actually being done by artists, different artists. So there's maybe slightly difference if you look at the skins. Like a different person done Angel of Death skin, different person has done, let's say the Keeper of Secrets, but they're still, you know, you can see the style is it's similar, but it's slightly, you know, slightly different, because it's done by a different person. And yeah, Elder God's Eye is definitely done by Patrick Johnson. No, it's not been AI'd. Patrick is a huge proponent of doing everything by hand. If you talk to him, like, he's absolutely brilliant, and he made sure everything's, you know, done by the book, because he's really particular about, you know, using his own work and not using AI for anything. Obviously,
his work is so good. So
I know,
good.
it's so detailed. Like all the things on Raziel's cape, you can see every single little thing. Oh my god, it's amazing.
So cool. It's so cool. I've been obsessed with his renders since you know, it's like, okay, no, that right there, that's Kain. That is
Hilden's been on the ball for ages.
No, yeah, he has been. And I saw some people complain that Raziel's forehead is too tall. It's because obviously the way the eyes, he's more realistically proportioned. He's proportioned to the FMV Raziel, which you see in the SR1 and 2. But anyway, it's the same Raziel. It's the same FMV Raziel done by GlyphX, which was done on orders or by concepts from the team. So it's not like it's definitely official. Obviously, the in-game versions is more stylized. It's different. It's like the larger eyes. The proportions are different. The hair is like kind of like hero kind of pose, like it waves around. And the FMV version is more realistic. It's more like, you know, by his face. So I understand, like, people have different expectations, and but yeah, that's why we have skins, so you can choose to your liking. And the people who want the stylized version, they can have the SRX Raziel, which Patrick wasn't there, but for the SR1 and 2 remasters, so it was done by different people. So I thought, you know, why not include all those models as well? Like, give people some choice, because we did want to do skins for the SR1 and 2 remasters as well, but just we ran out of time, so we couldn't do it. So in the end, we just chucked as many skins as we could into Defiance. So I wanted to talk about the glow of the Reaver, because we just talked about it. Just briefly, as you mentioned, you found out, I think I saw you, like, you pressed the button up, D-pad up, and
coil,
the glow appeared. Not just the coil, but the coil also generates the glow. So it acts as a torch, like, especially I think it works the best with the Light Reaver. So if you're in a dark area, you can't see, just summon the Light Reaver or any other Reaver, but Light Reaver works best, and it will illuminate the area. This is an effect which wasn't there before. It was inside the game, but they never enabled it, or it was disabled. We also enabled it for Soul Reaver 1 and 2. They both have the Reaver effect. In Soul Reaver 2, only the Fire Reaver and Light Reaver has this light effect around you.
Makes sense.
This dynamic light, but not the other Reavers. But we enable it for all the Reavers. They have their own glow. But obviously it works the best with, like, the Light Reaver, like the yellow light. the rest.
The amount of times I see people going, I can't find my way in these subterranean caves, and you're like, dude, you've just gotten the Light Reaver. What do you think that means?
Yeah,
You have a sword that glows.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite dark in there, so I get it. So if you don't know where you're going, you can get lost. But to me, it's just like autopilot. So but I get it. If you're playing it the first time, man, it can be. I don't know. I was like 15 or something when I was playing SR2, and I don't know. I don't think I used. No, I didn't use guide. I didn't use guide for SR1 either. I was like 12 or 11, 12 when I was playing Soul Reaver 1, and I got everything in that game like without a guide. And I'm like seeing people have, but then again, it was maybe different time. There was no internet, so you kind of had to play it until you got it. Like you couldn't just look it up conveniently unless you bought a guide in a magazine, and that helped you to find someone, which really cool. I do miss guide stuff sometimes, but that's why we have the little button there. If people get lost, like
by the way.
Yeah, the foresight. If you don't play it for a bit, like you might just like, where the hell do I go? But also we have like chapter names and also like sub objectives. Like, okay, it will tell you, okay, go do this now, because you just put the game away and come back to it a day later, and you might forget, like, oh, what the hell was I doing? I don't remember. So I really think it's like a a very like simplified like journal maybe. But I think it works, and also together with the foresight button, it does help. But you don't have to use it. You can just ignore it the whole game if you know where you're going, so it doesn't intrude on like seasoned players. But you can if you do get lost or you want to see some, okay, where do I go next? It will gently point you towards that direction. So when I was doing a speed run, like I had to like play through the game really fast. Like I actually used it in Citadel myself because I was like, I kind of skipped a few puzzles on the way, trying to just go to the end and make sure everything works. So it was definitely helpful. And
I found it particularly useful on like new camera, because I'm kind of used to like the old camera. Kind of subtly pointing you where to go. So on something like the Cloister Courtyard, it was like, okay, there are 3. Oh, which one of these have I been down? Which one of these haven't I been down? So I did find even knowing the game so well, it was a very useful little. Where am I going? There.
Yeah, those angles, original angles, were selected carefully to show you the right parts of the game. And obviously, we don't have that. But once you switch to a new camera, you're just on your own. You just need to explore. But also, it's in the spirit of Soul Reaver, I think, like to just explore and every nook and cranny. I mean, Soul Reaver 1 especially. Soul Reaver 2 didn't have as much of it, unfortunately. But I think returning Defiance to that kind of thing, it sits so much better with me than kind of predetermined. Even cool angles. I won't lie, they are good, but I want to look at things myself. I don't want the camera to do it for me. Like, let me look, let me explore. I prefer that over to like being. It almost feels like a guided experience. You're like on a roller coaster. You can just look. You can only look one certain way, and if you look the other way, you see all the nasty stuff you shouldn't be seeing. And behind the curtains, kind of feel. I
did have a free cam mod thing with the original Defiance.
I read about that.
Seeing how that looks compared to photo mode in Defiance Remastered is quite an experience, because I'm used to like going over here and seeing like there's one building that you can see in a particular shot. Thank you, camera. There's one building you can see in a particular shot, and it's just that one building, and like you can see a whole sort of wall of it here now, and you can see all of the buildings around it that they've put in. But like if you did that with the old free cam, it would become very apparent that it's a cardboard cutout, and there's nothing else there, and everything outside of that immediate shot is just gone.
It's actually none of the forges, the round tops, they're not connected to the level, but they're their own part. There's a huge gap on each side, and we fixed all of those, because I was like, we're not leaving this giant, because you can see them if you look upwards, you slightly see them, and I was like, no, fixing. And another thing, like, we have Raziel and Kain going through the same forges, but 500 years apart, and also was like, I didn't want to leave them exactly the same, so that's why Kain is in the past. It's snowing, so that's why there's snow coming through the ceiling, because he's still in the snow area. He arrives through in the Citadel. It's snowing, but suddenly it's not snowing in the first room he arrives, or Citadel 1. And then, but it snows when he goes down the staircase. So obviously, there was another thing. I added snow to that room, so it snows to the ceiling, and all the ceilings inside the smaller forges as well. And I also changed the atmosphere slightly, so there's like a bluish fog to them. So it's not the same as Raziel's. Raziel's as untouched as it was, but I wanted Kain gameplay to feel different, also visually, not just you collect a few different artifacts, but the rooms are the same. And also that's why the music is changed as well, because he's in the past, it plays Janos's Retreat, the snowy kind of theme. When you get to Janos, it's the thing which plays. And in SR2, it doesn't play there in the future. It only plays there when it's snowy. So I kind of like, okay, this, snowy association, it goes kind of somber, and you're exploring these ruins of old civilization. It fits great for Kain, and, I think it really worked. And I hope you enjoyed it. It only plays, there in the snowy part. But when he comes back in the future, it plays, obviously, the Dark Forge again, but only, when he goes there back in the future when Raziel explores as well.
So one thing I've been wanting to ask you about for years is ever since I first played it, is the Soul Reaver 1 opening FMV. It's my favorite cutscene of all time, and I'm really, really curious about all the work that went into restoring that.
It was shot for sure, but there are a few small differences, like those glitchy waterfalls, and I've seen that. I was like, oh, I wish you could fix that, but it's one of those things. It's not perfect and never will be, and because it's just because the transfer of the technology, like you can try as best as you can, but we need to do interpolation also. The cape freaked out, like the cape was walking in front of Raziel. It was crazy stuff we had to solve.
The sort of work in progress views of that with it like being a Doctor Strange movie, it was hilarious.
Rahab's eyes were like out of his head like this, like, oh my god, they were popped out of his head nearly, like it was so huge when he was surprised. I was like, no, and you couldn't. Actually, that's in the final cut as well in the original, but because it's so low res, you don't see it. But it does go really wide-eyed there. You can see it. I was like, oh god, okay. Oh well, this is how it was made. This is how the animation was made, because we had the original animation data. That's all reused. That's all original. There's no difference. But obviously the problem is like you have to make it 60 FPS and make sure it's all and interpolate the frames. And also the cape physics didn't really like that. And also there was a missing physics when he was being thrown, right before he was thrown. Like the cape seems a bit rigid on ours. We just couldn't get the physics on the cape working, because that scene, oh my god, the cliff scene, it was an absolute nightmare to render. The indoor scene is much easier because you only have the indoors of the room, but we have the whole set of cliffs. You can see the sky, and obviously the waterfalls are flowing, and there's also some transparency about the waterfalls. I was like, oh, it was crashing constantly, that scene. And you have also shadows on the floor when the lieutenants walk across. It sucked.
I've told you this before, but like that is my favorite cutscene of all time.
Oh, ours too.
The level of care that you've taken in that has just been it's incredibly it's overwhelming, and it's awe-inspiring. So thank you for all the work that you did on that.
Thank you so much. I mean, the problem with being a dev, because I see all the flaws and imperfections of it, and I was like, oh, I really want to go back and redo it, have it like, true widescreen, so it's not cropped off on the characters, maybe make Raziel's eyebrows darker, because I wanted to make it darker, but I promise you need to rerun the Raziel scene, the cape thing again, and it's just run out of time to redo all these things, and then I didn't notice that the straps of flesh were missing on his wings when they're torn off. That was like a major. But there's another physics thing I can see it's applied to. I was like, oh no, you have to rerender. I mean, we didn't know spotted that detail until it was too late. So, mistakes like this happen, and I wish I had time to go back and redo it and make it absolutely perfect. But even then, the technology itself doesn't let you, because it's like this ancient technology, Max 2.0. You have these plugins which we dug from the deepest hell of internet, like to find them, like 350 million years ago. They used this plugin, and then we're just excavating it from like the bones in the desert somewhere. And like just to find it, it was so much luck. Like, oh my god, I didn't think if we didn't find that one plugin, which was basically used for the cloth physics, and it was also used for the sky and the water. A lot of stuff was based on this plugin, and it's just so rare. It was because it's custom little plugin, which is probably I think it was only a few kilobytes large, and it just vanished from the from the internet. But it was somewhere, but you had to dig really deep for it. And like, gosh, I mean, I'm glad for the result we got. I mean, it was better than I could have imagined. But I wish we could do these little finishing touches and redo it again if I could. That's my little regret. Like, there's a few things which I would change about it. But we got. Instead, could have had an upscale of it, which would look totally bad. Because, like, if you notice the details in that cutscene, when Kain goes close, you can see every little pore and you can see. Look at the throne behind him. There's actually like real life mural texture behind him applied to that throne he's sitting on. And I have the texture, and I was like, oh my god, this is from there. Oh wow, you never noticed that because it looks like a mess of something, but it's actually like real life mural with human figures, things from like a battle or something.
That's so cool.
I had this idea. I did mention it to Baz, like, ooh, I have to both have you do a voiceover or something.
I was planning on it, and I've been I've been practicing the the Chronoplast scene.
Ben is getting so close on this, and the laugh. I feel like you're there.
Oh, the laugh is like.
Oh, the laugh is yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. I love it.
Well, I think at this point, like right now, all my recent practice, we've got to give Avum that credit because those descriptions, oh my god, they're so good. And I have so much fun reading them.
Yeah, he's put a lot into that. Good man for doing all of that work. It's amazing the amount he's written in there.
And it sounds like something Amy would write. Like it sounds like authentic. So that I think that's the most important part about it. Like you could imagine the characters saying these things, and it does bring out sass in Kain as well. Like when you read these descriptions, it's brilliant. So all thanks to Avon.
It really does. Like I love Kain's disdain for Malik, and that comes through so well in the new descriptions. Oh, okay. I've got the Chrono.
Ready to do it?
I'm ready. Baz.
Okay.
What? Let's see. Because I could do Kain. I can do Raziel too. But do we want to do like the same paragraph? How do you want to do this?
I suppose one of us should do one of us should do the other, shouldn't we? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think you're obviously a better Kain.
My accent is garbage, but I will do my best. Okay. Ozar intensifies. At last. I must say I'm disappointed in your progress. I imagined you'd be here sooner. Tell me, did it trouble you to murder your brothers?
Did it trouble you when you ordered me into the abyss?
No. I had faith in you. In your ability to hate. In your self-righteous indignation.
Lies. You cannot have seen all of this.
Eternity is relentless, Raziel. When I first stole into this chamber centuries ago, I did not fathom the true power of knowledge. To know the future, Raziel. To see its paths and streams tracing out into the infinite. As a man, I never could have contained such forbidden truths. But each of us is so much more than we once were. Gazing out across the plains of possibility, do you not feel with all your soul how we have become like gods? And as such, are we not indivisible? As long as a single one of us stands, we are legion. That is why, when I must sacrifice my children to the void, I can do so with a clear heart.
Can I talk to my agent? I want to get paid by the word now.
That's awesome.
Sorry.
Oh.
I saw
Brilliant,
the
brilliant.
length of that paragraph. I was like, nah, Kaiju wins.
It's a lot of chat,
yeah.
isn't it?
Very poetic, Ben. But in the end, you offer no more than a convenient rationalization for putting in a cheat when we thought you shouldn't have done.
Nice. Okay.
Nice.
Oh. Here's something absolutely crazy. If you've been watching the channel a long time, the channel flannel is going away. It's
Oh,
it's lost its shape. It's starting to lose its color, and so we're gonna say goodbye to the channel flannel. Goodbye, channel flannel. I don't know what that wave was, but thanks for watching, and join us again soon for more of our epic chat. Raina, Audron, and Bazielim, thank you so much for joining us, and everybody, if you like what you see and you want to see more, do the things.
Do the thing.
Hey, Victus.
Be Victus.